All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to your class with yours truly, the counselor. This topic today will be a topic on a subject called the domestic run. There are many kind of runs, and at this place and time, in this short amount of time of designing this particular topic, I only had so much time to do some work. But just bear with me and let's thank the mighty powers for my ability to bring you something. But there are different runs. There are runs that we can be running for this, running for that, running for all kind of stuff, right? And not even know what we're doing. Be unconscious of what we're doing and where we're at with the run, and be unconscious that some of these runs have lasted for many years. You know, we have been in the cycle span of a run. You know, some of us could be running for a cigarette. You know, some of us could be running for some kind of substance, right? And some of us could be running away from something by using something. But it's all involved and mixed in with what I would call, and many of you would call, our domestic run. All right, well, let's get started. It says, we're here again, with yours truly, the counselor. Let's get started. All right, it says our domestic run. Defining our domestic run. It says, the definition of running is moving, flowing, or operating. Running also means the act of racing. Running is known and shown as a positive as well as a negative in most of our behaviors, meaning we are either running towards something positive or running from something like fear, guilt, or shame. Ask yourself questions, all right? When it comes to having a child, paying bills, and paying rent, do you feel or believe your domestic run helps you or hurts you when you're running from the things you are supposed to be doing, right? You have to ask yourself that. I remember even in the process of, as I've shared with you all numerous times in other filming, other videos, and other classes, and even with the groups that I've counseled, I remember things getting so heavy on me. I remember being the emotional spouse in the family, even as a child. The emotional spouse can be the child, like, you know, the boy taking the role of his father, doing the things that a father is supposed to do, but there's a missing father, so someone adapts into the behavior, into the mode of father, so the family will have some kind of balance. And so I took on that role, and I remember being so young and feeling like my knees were buckling and I was about to crash because I was carrying so much at such a young age. And the thing about running is finding something, putting something in your body to feel better, to deal with whatever you have to deal with. These are some of the reasons some people like myself might find themselves engulfed in the use of some sort of drug, some sort of substance, some sort of alcohol, and so they can deal with it. So there are many things that cause us to run. There are involving ourselves into something, running towards something, and later finding ourselves running from something, like the neighborhood initiation, being part of something, being a part of a group that tells you you must do this in order to get this, right? So you can find yourself engulfed in. People many times say they're leaders. I've talked to even my own son and heard so many times the young people saying that they're leaders, you know, and later when it gets really real, they'll find themselves being into the process of being up under the domestic run, wanting to run and get out because it's not what they thought it would be. So domestic run is very interesting. But in order to get serious about life. In order to take on life serious, we must take on the positiveness, the positivity within the run. You know, you must be willing to do and run for the things, to have the things you want in life. In order to have the things that most people want and need in life, you must be willing to do the things that others won't do. I've heard before, watching documentaries of motivational speakers even telling stories how you'll find certain cultures and certain racial groups coming from other countries into the United States, running, right, jumping off the ship, running into the successes that they can have here. The labor that they put in their own country may have not been so beneficial, but they're really, really beneficial once they jump off the plane, the train, or the boat. You know, they jump off running, right? So that sort of run is a positive thing. We have spiritual runs too. Some people are running from God, and there are many individuals running to God, right? Meaning that they have time to pray. They have time to attend services. They have time. But many of us, and even myself at the time, I was running from something, right? I wanted something, but I was running from what I wanted. I was running from the way to get what I wanted. Many of us will not stop and say, find a power greater than themselves, a God, a Jesus, you know, Muhammad, whoever, right? Allah. Many of us will find ourselves finding something more powerful than ourselves and praying to that something along with the action. You know, they say faith without work is dead. And they'll adapt a sort of strength to be able to make that run in a positive direction. But like I said, there are those of us like myself at a time that would run from that. I would go another way. I say I know better than my God knows. And I would run and I would run. I would, you know, I even now find myself calling people I know and telling them, hey, what you think about church today? My woman would call her friends and ask, what do you guys think about going to church services today, or going over here and praising God today? And the answer many times is, I'm busy right now. I have something to do. I have to wash my clothes. No, I have to wait to see my program on TV. And so a lot of times we are running from what one needs to do. I heard a story some time back, and it related to me, and I really grabbed onto the story, and I'm hoping that you all can grab onto this particular story. This is a story that was talking about me, in a sense. And whatever you can fit this story in with your life, please do so. You're very welcome to do. And this story was about the fox and the rabbit. The rabbit is a very kind animal. The rabbit is who we all are without our masks on. We wear masks, and I don't have a mask right now. I'm just in my private section. But the rabbit is, before you put your mask on, he's a kind animal. He doesn't bother anybody. He doesn't go around trying to kill other animals and large animals. You know, he's just a cool person like we are before we start going to these neighborhoods, associating ourselves around people that's unlike us, that we want to be like. We look for popularity, so we put different stuff on and we pay a price. My price in my involvement involved drug use, right? And I remember not being able to stop because I was on this run. I was running, right? And I couldn't stop. I was going to jail over and over again. And I couldn't even count the many times that I've been to jail, right? The same routine, and every time I get out of jail, I go back on the drug run, right? Running on the drug run. But this story is about the fox and the rabbit. The rabbit, again, is a very kind, gentle animal without his mask on. right? It happened to be a fox chasing a rabbit through the forest. Oh, he was everywhere, right? And so he was chasing the rabbit through the forest, and it was an owl in the tree. I mean, look, the owl was like, excuse me for a minute. He was like, he was cracking up, right? So the old fox, he stopped. He looked up. He said, "Hey, man." He said, "Yeah, what's up?" Fox said, "Yeah, what's up?" He said, "Man, what you laughing at?" And the fox said, the owl said to the fox, he said, "I'm laughing at you." He said, "Why are you laughing at me?" He said, "Because you are running at that rabbit and you're not going to be able to catch him." He said, "Why would you think that?" He said, "Because you're running after that rabbit for one thing." He said, "What? What do you think I'm running after him for?" He said, "Well, I know what you're running after him for. You're running after him for a meal. You just want a meal." He said, "Yeah, and?" He said, "Well, that rabbit is running for something else." He said, "What?" He said, that rabbit is running for his life. And he said, as long as he's running for his life, you'll never be able to catch him. So in the sense of being within a vice, within a trap, a lock, a rat trap, or whatever you want to call it, if you, one would say, don't pick it up, it would be impossible to get high. You have to first pick it up. You have to first participate in the act of using the substance. Leave it where it's at. If you walk down the street and see it there, don't pick it up. Walk past it and keep going. Yeah, you're going to be mad later. You're going to have all these ideas on what you could have did, and you could have sold this and made all this money. Yeah, but you could also use it and die, right? So stop being an experimental monkey, the test monkey. Quit testing your life like that. Run. Continue to run. Run this thing for your life. People that take time for God to run the church, to run to a group of people that's trying to live the best life they can live, it strengthens you, right? So don't be afraid to go to those groups. Don't be afraid to go attend church services. If you don't like that particular church, there's always another one, right? So go get the message. Don't go focusing all the time on who the pastor is. A lot of times we go to meetings, we go to self-help groups, and we find ourselves judging the person on the way they look or whatever. We need to practice to start focusing on the message and not the messenger, right? The message is what's important. Did you get the message? The lessons are most important. Did you learn the lesson? Because if you don't learn the lesson in life, you're doomed to repeat the lesson. You're doomed to continue to suffer and be on a run for another 20 to 30 years. And I don't have another 10, 5, 1 day, 1 year run. I can't do it. I can't do it. And my life and your life is worth more than being on a negative run. Let's start running for life and run towards God, right? And be like the rabbit. Be like the rabbit. Run this thing for your life. Because if you run it for your life, that fox, that negativity, those haters, that devil will never catch you. Okay, that's going to be it for the domestic run with yours truly, the counselor, Mr. James Horton. Thank you for attending my group.